Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a small book haul for y'all. I have some adult fantasy, I have some romantasy, and I have some contemporary romance. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a like to show my channel a little bit of support. The first book was sent to me by my dear friend Andre, and that is Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This book has been on my radar for a long time since it came out, so I was super excited when I got this in the mail. It is a debut trilogy called Empire of the Wolf. The setting of this book is the Empire of the Wolf, and currently there is unrest going on in this empire. There are heretics that are challenging the imperial throne. Only the Order of Justices is keeping the chaos at bay, and we're following a justice named Conrad. He is one of the most powerful, feared justices. He is an excellent swordman and also possesses an arcane magical power. At his side is Helena, his basically apprentice and prodigy, and she was orphaned by the wars that have racked this empire. When Conrad and Helena are tasked with investigating the murder of a provincial aristocrat, they actually uncover a conspiracy that reaches all the way up to the imperial throne itself, and they have to decide if they are going to uphold the laws that they have sworn to protect or break them in order to unravel the mystery. So in addition to Justice of Kings, I also got the second book, which is The Tyranny of Faith, and the third book, The Trials of Empire. So I am so stoked to have this entire trilogy. In fact, I didn't even know that there was a third book out. At least I think it's a trilogy. I think this is the last one, but I didn't even know that this one had been published. So I am so excited to have it, to dig into this new trilogy, and thank you so much, Andre, for sending this to me. Next, I picked up a romantasy, What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper Woods. This is a book that piqued my interest on Amazon. I added it to my Amazon list and decided just to purchase it and give it a go. So when I was reading the synopsis of the book, there was something about it that kind of confused me, but I'll try and explain my thought. But it sounds like in this world, there is this veil that exists between these Fae and the humans, and the humans used to worship the Fae as gods, but then I think it sounds like something happened, this veil went up, and now the people that saved the humans are being worshipped as the gods. I don't know who they are, it was a little bit ambiguous. But we are following a main character that tends the garden right next to the veil, and apparently it's this huge shimmering wall. One day, this veil shatters, releasing the Fae upon the world of the humans once again. The Fae magic marks the humans that the Fae plan on taking, but then the human guards will actually kill those who have been marked. Our main character has to flee for her life because she's either going to get taken by the Fae or killed by the guard. But before the Fae are able to capture her, she ends up coming across a guy named Calum. He is also Fae marked, but he is able to harness this power and fight the Fae in ways that our main character, whose name I don't even know, has never been able to conceptualize. The two of them are on the run, and they end up developing a relationship, and she doesn't quite know if she can trust Calum or what his backstory is. Next, we have The Ever King by L.J. Andrews, and this is a seafaring type fantasy. In this book, we are following a main character named Eric, and Eric is known as the Ever King, and all he does is think about vengeance against those who killed his father. Not only did this foe kill his father, but they trapped Eric underneath the waves in his own realm, so he is basically stewing in his vengeance. One day, the enemy's daughter breaks chains on the Ever, and Eric decides to use her as a pawn in his game of vengeance against those who trapped him underneath the water. And obviously, we will have some enemies to lovers, hate to love type trope in this fantasy story. The next three books are contemporary romance, and they are all by the same author. The first one is Birthday Girl, which I have already read and reviewed. I will link that review up in the cards for you guys if you're interested in checking it out. In this book, we are following a girl named Jordan. She is 19 years old, and she and her boyfriend get kicked out of their apartment. She's in college. She works a job bartending. She doesn't have a lot of money, so they are forced to move in with Cole, her boyfriend's single father. And unfortunately, Jordan and her boyfriend's father, whose name is Pike, start to have feelings for one another and enter into a relationship, even though they have an age gap of 17 years, and it's her boyfriend's father. So obviously you can imagine that there is a ton of problems that go along with starting such a relationship, And it is a dual point of view story, so not only are we hearing from Jordan's point of view, but also Pike's point of view. The reason that I picked this up is that I have heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard about this book in general, and I don't even read a lot of contemporary romance, and I was in the mood for something kind of light, so I decided to pick it up. I ended up loving this book. I'm not going to go into too many details about why I loved it so much. Please check out my review if you want to hear more thoughts, which is why I decided to pick up some more of Penelope Douglas's work. The next book I picked up was Credence, which is also by Penelope Douglas, and I'm currently reading this. In fact, I'm almost done. I think I have less than 100 pages left. But this book is like a complete 180 from Birthday Girl, and it follows a girl named Tiernan, and she is the daughter of a famous actress, and her dad was also like part of the Hollywood crowd. So she grew up with a lot of wealth and prestige. Unfortunately, her parents didn't really show her a lot of love and affection, so she's grown up thinking that she's not worthy of love and affection. One day her parents pass away, and she is left in the care of her father's stepbrother, so her step uncle, who lives in this secluded part of Colorado. So she goes to live with them, and then she meets his two older sons. And in the beginning of the book, Tiernan is 17, but she does turn 18 at some point in the book. And she ends up entering into different relationships with all three of the men in this book. So the dad and then the two sons. So there is a lot going on in this book, and I'm not loving it, to be honest. In fact, it's kind of pain to me to have to try and finish it. Like I said, complete 180 from Birthday Girl. If you guys want me to do a full review of this book, just let me know, and I definitely will, because I'm not sure I really want to. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of dynamics that go on in this book between the different characters. We have the issue with Tiernan and her being as young as she is, and then we also have all of the different characters having like their own demons that they are working through. But then we do have like a really beautiful setting. Like, I'm loving the setting of being in Colorado and the way that the authors describing that. So there's a lot to unpack with this book, so you guys will have to let me know if you want me to do a full review of it. And lastly, we have Punk 57, and this is another book that has been on my Goodreads TBR for a long time. I have been familiar with it. I knew what it was, and I think a subscriber recommended it to me, or someone recommended it to me, and every time I go into my used bookstore, which also sells new books, I see this darn book, and I'm always like, maybe I should just get it because that one subscriber told me to read it. So I finally broke down and got it because I had enough store credit to get the book, so I didn't have to technically pay for it. But this is a book where the two characters, I believe, are in high school. However, it is described as a new adult book because it does have 18+ content, which is kind of jarring for me considering the age of these characters. And I think that's another reason that I didn't pick it up for so long, is because it's getting harder and harder for me to read books with the protagonists that are going through those type of experiences because, you know, it's been so long since I've been in that point in my life. But in this book, we are following two main characters, and they have been pen pals since they were in elementary school. And they made a promise that they would never learn the identity of one another. It's a boy and a girl. No social media, no phone calls, no nothing. And they kept this pen pal relationship up all the way until they were in high school. But one day, our character Misha, who is a male, comes across a video online with a girl named Ryan, who is the girl pen pal, and he starts to put two and two together, thinking that this is his pen pal. Not only that, but Misha ends up being enrolled as a student in Ryan's school, and she has no idea of his identity, and I don't know if he knows her identity or not. It makes it sound like it does, but maybe he doesn't quite know if it's his pen pal or not. And the two of them in real life don't get along, don't like each other. There is some negative, toxic things going on between the two of them that they have to work through as the truth surfaces that they are and have been friends since they were little. A lot going on in this book, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So even though I loved Birthday Girl, even though Credence I'm having some issues with, I'm really still excited to read Punk 57 and hopefully more of Penelope Douglas's work. Alright y'all, that is it for my book haul. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or some books that you acquired recently. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!